Hello again. Hola de nuevo. ¿Qué tal? What's up? Yo soy José. In this video, we are going to talk and to learn the question words. Those small words that help us to make a question. It's basic for any good conversation, right? So, yes, asking is the king of skills. Very important to know how to ask questions. So, here we see an overview of the question words in Spanish with the translation in English. We will see this slide at the end of this lesson, of this video, and also you can download the table, the summary, if you want at the end. Now let's go one by one and see those words. The first one is the word que. Que means what, mainly used for what, but also can be used like which. So, for example, ¿qué comes? What do you eat? ¿Qué comes? But I also can use the word in order to ask, ¿qué fruta prefieres? Which fruit do you prefer? ¿Qué means what and which. Then we want to ask who, ¿quién? Or quiénes. In Spanish, we have a plural version of the word who. So I can say who, knowing that the answer is going to be one person. Por ejemplo, ¿quién prepara la comida? Who prepares the food? But I can ask quiénes in plural if I assume that there are more than one person doing it. For example, ¿quiénes preparan la comida? Who prepare the food? Who are the people that prepare the food? Next, we see the word ¿dónde? Where? ¿Dónde comes? ¿Dónde comes? Where do you eat? ¿Cuándo? When? ¿Cuándo comes? When do you eat? And then, ¿cómo? How? ¿Cómo comes? How do you eat? ¿Rápido? ¿Rápido? ¿O despacito? How do you eat? Very quickly or very slowly? ¿Cuánto? ¿Cuánto means how much, but it can also mean how many. And in Spanish, the word cuánto has a masculine version, which is cuánto, a feminine version, which is cuánta, and also in plural masculine and plural feminine. I can ask cuánto, cuánta, cuántos, and cuántas, depending if I assume that the answer is going to be in singular or in plural, or if I'm specifically asking about a feminine noun or a plural object. For example, if it's a general question like how much do you eat, I will say just cuánto, just the default word to ask how much. ¿Cuánto comes? How much do you eat? But for example, if I want to know how many fruits, and fruits in Spanish is a feminine word, and it is also in plural, because I'm saying fruits, so I will ask, ¿cuántas frutas comes? Okay? If instead of frutas, I would want to ask, for example, about chocolates, which is masculine. El chocolate. Okay? So I would ask, ¿cuántos chocolates comes? Okay? Remember, cuánto, but there are masculine, feminine, singular, and plural versions. Now we go and we find here the word cuál. Cuál means which one. And in plural, cuáles means which ones. And it is a little bit different than the which that we saw at the beginning with que. But we will see this later. Right now, when you find the word cuál, you will see, like in the example, that it just comes by itself. I just ask, ¿cuál prefieres? Which one do you prefer? For example, I'm showing you a lot of apples, and I ask you, which one do you prefer? Which one do you want? Okay, so I don't need to say apple again. I don't need to say ¿cuál manzana? That would be not so correct. We say just ¿Cuál prefieres? And in plural, if you have the right to choose 2 apples, not only one, I will say the same. I will say, ¿Cuáles prefieres? Okay, which ones do you prefer? Or which apples do you prefer? And just to finish this list of question words, the most interesting question of all, ¿por qué? ¿Por qué? Why? Which literally, it is actually 2 words. Literally, it means because of what? Remember the first word we saw? ¿Qué? ¿Qué means what? And por basically means because of. So, ¿por qué? Why? ¿Por qué comes? Why do you eat? Why do you eat? ¿Por qué comes? Or, ¿por qué no comes? Huh? Why don't you eat? Okay, so now you see again the table with the summary of all the question words in Spanish and in English. You can download this image, okay, as an image, and keep it for your convenience. And if you have any questions, please post your question, and it will be great if you post your question using those question words in Spanish, or you can just post an example and check if it's correct or not correct, and I will see you in the next lesson. Muchas gracias. Hasta luego. Chao.